Hey, what's up, guys? I got a good question yesterday about how to apply topical minoxidil in an optimal way, one that minimizes messiness while also maximizing just ergonomics, making sure that you're using as much as possible in an effective way and making sure it doesn't get wasted on the hair, doesn't drip down the forehead or anything like that. So I did create a video about this in my liquid versus foam minoxidil video, but I didn't actually show how to do it. Like I didn't actually give you guys a demonstration, I just kind of explained it really quickly. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So if you guys didn't see that video, to sum up what I talked about, I said that liquid minoxidil is usually not ideal for a lot of people because of its high propylene glycol content, and as a result of that, it can leave a really nasty dandruff-like residue on the scalp, and additionally, it takes a very long time to dry, so a lot of people will say, okay, I'll use the foam. But the problem is that if you have medium or long length hair or medium length hair like I do, then it can become pretty wasteful to apply it just because a lot of it actually gets lost onto the hair. So what I figured is that I can actually get the best of both worlds by using the minoxidil foam, since it dries much faster than the liquid, but applying it as a liquid. Because the thing about the foam, and here's a generic example of it right here, I just got this from Walgreens recently, is that it actually turns into a liquid when it comes into contact with your body's own heat. Now, a couple things I want to go over before I actually do the demonstration is that when it comes to applying it, the package will always say that it only works on the crown, doesn't work on the temples. This is complete bullshit. The only reason why it says that is because the FDA, when it was undergoing clinical trials, I think way back in the 80s, they only tested it on the scalp, so legally they're not allowed to say that it works on the temples or anywhere else in the hair. But the truth about minoxidil is that it's interesting in that it's not hormonal, and it actually works anywhere on the body where there's hair. People have even used this stuff to regrow their beard. So this will work anywhere on the head or anywhere on the body where there's hair, so don't worry about that. And another thing I want to say that's a myth is that it says you have to use it twice per day. That's actually not true. And the reason why they said that is because the oral version of this drug, called Lonatin, Lonatin is oral minoxidil, and that has a half-life of about 6 hours or so. However, interestingly enough, the topical version has a half-life of about 23 hours. So applying this once daily is totally adequate. And when I apply it, I like to try to get full scalp coverage. A lot of people think, well, I'll just apply it in the problem areas. But think about this. If somebody has a receding hairline, and let's say they can go back 2 years ago or so, or whenever they started losing their hair, they'd probably apply it on the hairline before their hairline actually started to disappear. And that's because you want to use these treatments as a preventative measure. So I apply it even in the areas where I'm not losing hair, just to make sure I don't lose hair in that area in the future. So I apply it all over the scalp. So I've talked a lot about that. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just explain how I apply this stuff. Is that first, you want to get the damn child safety lock off. You just want to use some muscle like that. So if you have kids, make sure they don't get anywhere near this stuff. And then what you want to do is that you want to basically apply heat to this in one fashion or the other in order to turn into a liquid. And also, you want to make sure you have one of these droppers. This dropper I recycled from a package of old liquid minoxidil, but you can buy these guys at like hardware stores. You can buy them online, very cheap, but they're 1 milliliter droppers, and I like to use anywhere from like 3 to 4 milliliters per day, or even a little bit more depending on how much scalp coverage I need. And what I'll do is that I'll take this cap right here and I will fill it up with minoxidil. So let me get a little bit close to show you how that's done. So my hands are a little shaky still from the workout, and it's actually a little warm in here, so it's already kind of melting a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll take a hot air dryer, and this is one of two methods you can use, is that you can take a hot air dryer and just feel for it a bit, wait until it's hot, and then watch this. Whoa, there we go. And look at that, voila! We got some liquid minoxidil right here now. So I like to use more than one capful though, I like to use a few capfuls. So while I'm filling this up again, let me show you another thing you can do. If you don't have a hot air dryer, you can actually, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up again. You can take a cup full of hot water and just kind of dip it in a little bit. And look, you can see that? This is boiling hot water right here. And you just kind of mix it around. And there you got some more foam minoxidil that has turned into liquid minoxidil. So if you have any residual foam in there, let me like go ahead and put it, I mean, right now, I probably don't even need to add anything. I mean, the liquid is warm enough that any additional foam I add will just turn to foam. So I'll just go ahead and put that there and I'll stir it in with like the dropper. And now I have a pretty adequate amount of liquid minoxidil that was foam. So let me go ahead and show you how I apply it. So when you apply it, what you want to do when you have like medium hair like this, and I already applied some minoxidil today, so I'm not going to do my whole scalp, but you want to make sure that it doesn't run down the scalp or anything. So first you want to really part your hair. I'm going to go ahead and get it just below the crown, or just on top of the crown right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just gently put the plunger on. And then whenever you feel the scalp get a little wet, you can either take your fingers or your knuckles and just massage it in really, really, really deeply. And that'll make sure that it really helps penetrate the skin, and also that it doesn't drip down the forehead or anything like that. So I'm not going to apply it all over the scalp, but usually where I put emphasis is on the areas that are traditionally associated with male pattern baldness, so the temples, the crown, and also all the surrounding areas, because that's how pattern baldness works, is that eventually the temples and the crown meet right there. So anyways, other than that, there's not much else to cover about this. I mean, that's just the way I apply topical minoxidil. And what's really cool about this stuff is that this foam, it dries really, really quickly. It takes like 15 minutes as opposed to actual liquid minoxidil that comes in a pre-liquid that takes like anywhere from 4 hours. I think it'd even take a little bit longer, especially if you apply a large amount to the scalp like me. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys how I do that, how it's done. And you know, of course, when you're going for the minoxidil, always go for the generic stuff like the like from Walgreens, Target, or whatever variant of generic Rogaine or Regain is where you live, because you know this is like probably half the price of the brand name Rogaine. But anyways, hope you guys found this video informative, and I'll be back soon with more content.